Yeah, I've left the net, sorry. Today we have come back to East Delph Lakes and we've got 24 hours ahead of us fishing on the Long Lake. Now those of you who follow our channel may remember a few months ago we fished the back lake and we caught one of the most famous fish on the complex after forgetting our fishing bait, and we used Sweetcorn only. A ridiculously good session, but it got us thinking about just how good supermarket baits are. So we're back, like I said, fishing a different lake, but we have only got a selection of supermarket baits with us, just to show, one, how cheap it is, and two, how good they can be. So you've all probably seen them before. We've got some bread, that's ridiculously cheap. Obviously we're not going anywhere without the corn after what happened last time. Bit of pepperami, probably going to be the hook bait. We've got a tin of meat, a tin of chickpeas, they absolutely love chickpeas, can of tuna, and then something that ramped the budget up a little bit, a few mussels. Now all in all, just looking at the receipt down here, we spent £7 and 6p. The mussels are actually 180, so they were quite a bit of the budget, but yeah, it shows how cheap that is. And like I said, it's not baits that none of you have never seen before, but it is leaving the conventional, boilies, pellets at home. So this particular lake really leans itself to a stalking approach, especially if you book exclusively and you can move around swims. So the starting tactic is going to be mix a bit of this up, not sure what yet, get the rods set up, and then we're going to walk around, bait a few areas and see if we can catch a few fish. And pretty much we just want to have some fun. I'm going to probably try and fish on the float really close in, and it's probably 30 degrees at the minute, so the hottest day of the year. Not great for fishing, but it does lean itself to those tactics. For now, I'm going to get some bait mixed up and start baiting up a few of these areas. Little cutouts look mega. Finally some shade. It is absolutely roasting hot. That's a cup. Wait. No, come on there. Ah, no. 1-0. 1-0. Well, what a frustrating afternoon slash early evening that was. We've done a lot of walking around this lake, but it's been absolutely baking hot, and I just don't think they wanted to feed. We had one chance, one fish we lost right down the edge. It's really good fun because you can see the reeds knocking, and this lake 100% leans itself to stalking. But time is ticking on now. It's 8 o'clock, looking at my phone, and just double checking, we've done 8,000 steps around this lake. And it's what it is. Sometimes the weather is just too hot, so I think we'll have a chance going into the evening and potentially tomorrow morning. So I'm going to load this barra up. I'm going to find myself a little plot to fish into the darkness. It's quite silty, this lake, so it's going to take a little getting used to, getting to find a spot. So we're going to get round there, get the gear sorted, talk you through the evening plan, and hopefully as the temperature drops, the sun goes down a little bit, those fish might be a little bit more willing to feed. Well, that is a couple of spots found. Now, if you've not fished here before, James warned us it is really silty and you need to spend time finding a spot that's fishable. I mean, of course you can fish in deep silt, but when it's really, really silty, you need to combat that, and finding yourself an area is really, really important. So cast, feel your lead down, try and feel for that drop. It's so easy to tell the harder areas to completely really deep silt area, and for me, I'm just more confident having it on an area that I know is slightly cleaner. I put a feature finder lead on, dragged it through my spot. I mean, there is leaves and that, but you'd expect that fishing underneath a tree and in this channel here where these rushes are, so you'd expect some debris on the bottom, but as long as your rigs combat that, you should be fine. So I'm happy with the spots. I'm going to get the bait sorted because we've still got to work out what I'm putting out there with the supermarket baits, and then the hook baits as well. We need to sort that out because ideally I'd like to fish pop-ups, but we haven't got that option. So yeah, we'll work out what we're going to do and then we'll get out there and see if we can have one.
It smells good actually.
You literally could eat that with a spoon.
Look, it's alright that. Perfect.
Right, okay, so obviously we've got to be a little bit creative with the bait. The spod mix is all done, and in fairness, it smells alright. I pretty much used a little bit of everything, mulched it all together, and I think that'll do the job nicely. I mean, all these baits catch fish, I'm not worried about that. I'm going to save the mussels, potentially just for a bit of stalking later on, but hook baits is the next thing we're going to talk about. Now, I'm just going to make one up here. Now, for anyone who's not seen this, this is armour mesh, which is basically PVA that doesn't melt pretty much. So you can put literally anything inside it. So what I'm doing here is making a little ball of corn. So it is pretty much a corn boilie. Now, different this lake to the back lake that we fished before. This lake has got a lot of silverfish in. We've seen that when we're stalking. You throw any bait in, they're on it straight away. So putting a couple of grains of corn wouldn't be an option. So I made a few up in true Blue Peter fashion. These are going to be my hook baits. One normal little bit of pepper army, and then in the armour mesh balls, one tuna and one corn. I think, as it's 2 rods only, I'm going to go a bit of pepper army and a tuna armour mesh. That's going to be my 2 starting points, and I'm going to get that sorted now. I'm going to get some of this spotted out there, get the rods on the spot, and then get all the house set up.
You want the 6 packs. Look at them.
Look good.
Look at mine. Won't be a trip to East Delph without our customary takeaway, mate.
Best thing that happened so far, isn't it?
Best thing that's happened today. To be fair, I think we deserve it. I think I'm up to like 12,000 steps now.
I reckon this pizza's probably worth 20,000.
Check this bad boy out. Donna special.
Well, I must admit, I didn't expect to be speaking to you this morning without catching a fish. Both rods went out really nicely, and when I reeled them in this morning, they were clean and they were definitely fishing. So I can't really put my finger on it, but I think the only thing that we can do to try and catch one is get back on the stalking approach. So it's pretty much 4:30 now, first light. I'm going to clip on these tiny little rigs, little short braided rigs, same bait, so I've got a little tuna ball and a little pepper army one on this, and rather than fishing a float like I did yesterday, I'm going to have double the chances, 2 rods and alarms, drop them literally off the rod tip, handful of bait around it, and then just spend 30 minutes in each swim, laps of the lake, and see if we can find one that way. But they really are playing hard to get, so I'm going to get this one ready to go. I think first thing to do is make a cup of tea, and then we really need to get going. Well, a bit like yesterday, to be fair, it's so hot again, but we've not had much luck today. We've fished 4 or 5 different swims this morning, literally since first light. I got up as soon as it got light because I knew that we had to be on the move to try and find them. With, you know, everywhere we're going, we're seeing fish. I just don't know in this heat if they want to feed. It's been over 30 degrees both days, and I don't want to go down to at night, but you know, I couldn't sit in my sleeping bag, it was still roasting hot. But I'm just going to have one last go in a swim just up here, and I've slipped on a little bit of pepper meat, so I'm going to throw a little bit of mix over the top, lower this over the rod tip, just through a little gap in the reeds, and let's hope in the last, say, probably got 3 hours left, one of them puts the head down and has a bit of a feed. He'd out. Yeah, I've left the net, sorry. That was a bit mayhem, wasn't it? Go on. Way! That was a bit crazy. You stole my pepperoni. Well, never have I been so happy to catch a mid-double carp. We've worked pretty hard this morning, got up at first light, fished 4 or 5 swims already, then we came round to a little reedy cutout, and I've just dropped a little bit of pepperoni underneath the rod tip, and what a fight. I don't know how much of it you saw, because it's so close quarters, it's explosive, and it really tested out the gear. But yeah, I feel a bit of relief for that one. It's probably about 9 o'clock now, so we have to be off by 12. There's a couple of hours left of fishing, so you never know, there's a chance of another one. But from what we've done from all day yesterday, nothing throughout the night, and working hard this morning, it wasn't looking good, and that has brought a smile to my face. So I'm gonna get it slipped back. It's really hot, not gonna keep them out too long, and let's just pray for one more. That was hard work, but we didn't blank.
What are you doing? Now that you've got to drive home.
Oh mate, it's so hot. Are you filming it? I wasn't quite ready there, but that is going to be the end. It is so hot. I don't even know how hot it is there. We've just come under the shade just to keep warm after packing all the gear up loaded on the barrow in the blistering sun. That was too much. We've got 2 rods left fishing, but I'm now going to wind those in, and it has just been one of those sessions. You know, sometimes the fish don't want to feed. Some of you may ask, why have I not fished floating bread? Because I have got it with me. Well, you can't actually feed floating baits here, and unless I can see fish cruising around on the surface, for me, I've just not got the confidence to chuck a piece out there and leave it floating around. So it didn't seem like an option, and yeah, if the fish don't want to feed, there's nothing you can do about it. We could always show you fishing sessions that you smash it and catch 10, but it's not realistic. Fishing is going and making the most of your situation, and we managed to catch one just before we had to pack up. So I'm going home happy, and the trip was well worthwhile. So all that's left for me to do is wind these 2 rods in, get back on the road. But as always, obviously a huge thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next